Yes, check, check, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hang on, my mic's rubbing against something. Here we go.
Yeah, they just asked me if you could be thoughtful about your necklace.
I'm trying to just rearrange it.
Be thoughtful.
With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News, live at 5.
Coming up on Live at 5.
We heard a commotion and the power lines started vibrating, and we realized something had happened right down the street here.
Rainy weather caused an accident at a heavily traveled tunnel, creating a traffic jam. We'll let you know how it affected business. Plus, the rain in the Tennessee Valley is the aftermath of Tropical Depression Cindy. We'll show you the hardest hit areas and fill you in on what's next. How does the new health care bill compare to Obamacare? We'll let you know what the proposal means for you. Live at 5 starts now.
With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News, live at 5.
Good afternoon, and thank you for choosing Channel 3 for your news. I'm David Carroll.
And I'm Lori Mitchell, in for Cindy Sexton. Tropical Depression Cindy made landfall overnight in southwest Louisiana as a tropical storm. And that storm carried winds up to 45 miles per hour and landed between Cameron, Louisiana and Port Arthur, Texas. The system brought heavy rain and caused flooding from East Texas to the Florida Panhandle. Coastal flooding was evident in Cameron. Several roads were underwater, and more rain is on the way tonight. We have team coverage of the storm tonight. Chief Meteorologist Paul Barris is tracking the system, and Channel 3's Tanisha Cordell is covering how the storm could impact the Channel 3 viewing area. And tonight we begin with Paul.
All right, Lori, thanks a lot. Let's take a look right now at the radar. Again, this is the radar over the past couple hours or so. We're going to put this into motion for you. Hopefully there it goes. The showers again moving off towards the northeast. So one batch of showers has moved by for most of the day. It was pouring. A moderate to almost heavy rain falling out near Fort Payne. So this is moving off to the north and east out of northeast Alabama through Dade County, Walker County. It'll be moving over Marion and then later on Hamilton and covering the whole area. So this is just one little patch that's going to be moving on by. As a matter of fact, we'll pull back here. You can see that patch again to the south and west of us. There are tornado watches just a little bit north of Birmingham all the way down to about New Orleans. Numerous tornadoes have been reported, but usually in a situation like this, they're very small tornadoes and they don't last that long. But again, the big swath of rain's heading our way. Then we're going to see some breaks in that rain a little later on. Here's the latest Vipercast showing again some of the breaks overnight. This is around 7 o'clock in the morning. Just some light rain here and there. By noon, just cloudy skies. And then by 7 o'clock, more showers, maybe some thunderstorms popping up. By 7 o'clock Saturday morning, most of it seems to be over with. By noon Saturday, sprinkle possible, mainly dry weather with just some clouds and a northerly wind. And that will continue into Sunday when we'll start to see some clearing, which is good news. The complete 7-day forecast is coming up for you in just a little bit.
All right, thank you, Paul. Tropical Depression Cindy is impacting people living here in the Tennessee Valley. And as Paul has been mentioning, we could have some accumulation, substantial accumulation here in Chattanooga by tomorrow. Now, Channel 3's Tanisha Cordell is following the rain pattern, and she joins us live from the TVA area of the dam with a warning. Tanisha?
Well, David, luckily the rain has stopped right now and it's pretty humid outside, but we're not quite in the clear, as Paul said, as far as rain goes. And because of that, the TVA River Forecast Center is monitoring the Chickamauga Dam, as you see behind me, very closely to make sure it continues to flow smoothly. Now, the center doesn't believe any of the Tennessee waterways will reach flood levels, but they say they do want to make room for the 1 to 3 inches of extra rainfall that we're expecting today and tomorrow. Now, the TVA Forecast Center is also updating their plan every 6 hours, ready to make any changes as they continue to track and monitor Tropical Depression Cindy. Now, the good news is forecasters are predicting that it's going to be a sunny weekend. So if you're planning to get out on the water this weekend, you should be in the clear. But just in case, head to our website, WRCBTV.com, for everything you need to know to stay safe and prepared. For now, live from the Chickamauga Dam, Tanisha Cordell, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Tanisha. And of course, Paul Barris will join us in a little while to let you know exactly how much rain we can expect. Now, the rainy weather earlier this morning was the cause of a crash near a very heavily traveled tunnel in the North Shore area. Yeah, police say a truck wrecked just feet away from an apartment complex near the Stringers Ridge Tunnel. Channel 3's Tim Pham tells us how that crash impacted a local business.
This is the pole that snapped in half after a truck slammed into it just before the morning commute. It was a soggy ride in for drivers this morning in the Tennessee Valley. This truck now sits on the back of a wrecker. It hit this now mangled pole on Cherokee Boulevard. Police say it happened as employees at Nikki's restaurant were arriving to work around 8 o'clock this morning.
We heard a commotion and the power lines started vibrating, and we realized something had happened right down the street here.
The crash closed the Stringers Ridge Tunnel that connects Chattanooga to Red Bank. Drivers were forced to turn around and find a detour. But to Dale Hawkins, the closure drove away his business.
Luckily, we don't get busy till about 11:30. But if they keep the street closed, especially the tunnel, we expect that we will be impacted.
EPB tells Channel 3 no one lost power as a result of the crash. Crews worked to secure the lines while police barricaded the area. Police say weather likely played a factor in the accident. Hawkins says this area is a known trouble spot.
In bad weather, it is not unusual to see a car coming through the tunnel that especially if they're speed or slick roads.
CPD says the driver's injuries were not serious. While police investigate the crash, Hawkins waits for business to return to normal. EPB worked to safely remove the wires from the old pole and installed a new one this afternoon. Reporting in Chattanooga, Tim Pham, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
The road was closed for about 6 hours, but traffic is now moving again. The road did reopen around 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Much more on Tropical Storm Cindy coming up later in the show. I suppose we should say tropical depression now. And you can download our weather app and track the storm yourself.
We have new information about a shooting in the Avondale community on Stanfield Street. Police say 32-year-old Courtney Nelson was shot once in the chest. The shooting happened early yesterday afternoon. Nelson was taken to the hospital seriously hurt, but we're now being told he is expected to be okay. Call Chattanooga Police if you have any information about this shooting.
We're learning new details about an inmate death at the Ray County Jail. The Sheriff's Department confirms 30-year-old Amanda Davis was found unresponsive during a routine check early yesterday. She had been arrested on Saturday for public intoxication and drugs. She appeared in court Tuesday, one day before she died. The TBI is now investigating.
More than 5 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's disease, and when it comes to the basics, communicating with the doctor is key. Coming up in Eye on Health, advice and help for both caregivers and patients.
Another good swath of rain is moving out of northeastern Alabama, heading right towards Hamilton County, North Georgia, the metro area of Chattanooga. And it's not over yet. It's not even close to over yet. We'll tell you how much rain will fall on my 7-day forecast.
Well, you know, things are not always what they seem these days, and a Florida man faces criminal charges after he was caught on video impersonating a police officer. The man's name is John Dawson, and in the video he is seen getting out of his car and approaching the victim's car wearing what appears to be a badge. Well, the victim's 15-year-old son suspected something was wrong, so he started taping the incident. Now, you can hear Dawson yelling and swearing at the two, telling them to slow down. They then followed Dawson and eventually were able to get his license plate number, reporting it to the real police. As for the fake cop, Dawson, he turned himself in yesterday.
A dramatic rescue caught on camera as a police officer swooped in to save a toddler who ran into the middle of a busy road and was nearly hit by oncoming traffic. Surveillance video shows the toddler hopping off a motorcycle that was stopped at an intersection and running across a busy multi-lane road. There you can see him there. A police officer ran into the street just as a car sped toward the child. The officer there managed to scoop up the 2-year-old boy just in time, and thankfully no one was hurt.
An Alabama state trooper captured a tornado on camera in Covington County, Alabama last night. In the video, we can hear the man say that he hears where the twister is, and then he says, "I've got to go. It's coming right at me." So far, the storm has claimed the life of a 10-year-old boy who was visiting down on the Gulf in Baldwin County, Alabama. A log floating in the water struck and killed the boy. And there was a possible tornado touchdown today in Fairfield, Alabama. Of course, we're tracking that system throughout tonight's newscast.
And coming up next on Live at 5, our Latrice Curry sits down with various fields to treat or assist Alzheimer's.
And how the health care bill could affect you here in the Tennessee Valley. That's next. And as we go, we're taking a look at the damage caused by Tropical Depression Cindy. We're told a possible tornado touchdown. We're monitoring the storm throughout tonight's newscast. Stay tuned.
June is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. The diagnosis can be difficult on the patient and the caregiver.
And in this Eye on Health report, Latrice Curry tells us why it's important to communicate with the doctor. It's all about what's called the circle of care.
More than 5 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's disease. I sat down with those from various fields who treat or assist patients and caregivers. They all agree it takes a team effort.
It starts with the person that brings the patient in, who may be a caregiver, and it goes from there.
Dr. Melvin says patients and family members shouldn't be afraid to discuss concerns with a doctor. If you think it, then you need to follow through.
Denial is a very common thing among people who have dementia. It's also very common among the caregivers as well.
But Amy says when you're in doubt, it's important to reach out to that circle of care, which includes social workers like Brooke Ross. Her goal is to help families and caregivers alleviate stress and take a proactive approach.
And that's identifying resources within your own family and neighborhood and church family that you may not be thinking of as people that could assist you.
Brooke says that help and assistance is crucial. 35% of caregivers for people with Alzheimer's and other dementia report their health has gotten worse due to care responsibilities. That's compared to 19% of caregivers for older people without dementia. As with any medical condition,
early detection, early diagnosis, early intervention. That is the absolute key to managing any chronic illness, and it's certainly true with Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia.
Latrice Curry, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Senate Republican leaders have released their health care bill that they have been crafting with hopes of passing it during the next week. But how is the uncertainty impacting people across the U.S.? That's Sarah Halfacre, a single mother in Louisville, who just got a notice in the mail that her health care plan will not be available in 2018. Her health care insurance company, Humana, is pulling out of the state's exchange. And for Sarah, it's not the first time. Last year, she got the same notice from a different insurance company, and that makes this all the more frustrating.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying. We live in the United States. This should not be a concern. Everybody should have access to affordable and manageable health care.
On NBC Nightly News tonight, you'll hear more about how Americans and health insurance companies are dealing with the changes coming out of Washington, and we'll have a full breakdown of the bill for you here on Channel 3, live at 5:30.
Today, Capitol Hill police forcibly removed protesters in wheelchairs from Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's office the same day that health care plan was announced. 43 people in all were arrested. The sit-in was organized by the ARC, which advocates for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. The protesters chanted, "No cuts to Medicaid, save our liberty."
Channel 3 Eyewitness News traffic sponsored by CHI Memorial. Schedule an annual wellness checkup today at one of our more than 30 locations. Visit chimemorialmedicalgroup.org to find a physician near you.
Chattanooga police are working to clear an accident East 3rd at Siskin Drive, and heavy traffic. Watch out for it if your commute takes you I-24 eastbound from downtown to that 75. Split commute time right now about 11 to 13 minutes. From the US 101 Information Center, it's Mo with your Eyewitness News traffic.
Thanks, Mo. Well, looking at the high-res radar here, we got a big swath of rain moving out of northeast Alabama into Dade County, Walker County. It's going to spread over much of southeast Tennessee. The heaviest stuff is near Fort Payne still, and that'll be moving through Chattooga. Northwestern part of Chattooga County is getting hit pretty hard. And just south of Dalton, there's a pretty little heavy cell, too. Just north of Canton, earlier today, there were some tornado warnings in effect because the radar was indicating some spinning going on out there, but that seems to have left right now. We pull back further, and you can see lots of rain still out in the eastern part of Alabama. That's going to be moving north, so still some heavier rain moving in over North Georgia and probably much of southeast Tennessee. The center of the storm right now is swirling over the northern part of Louisiana, right in here. So the bulk of the storm is out here. The winds weren't too bad as it moved onshore, 45 to 50 miles an hour or so. But a lot of that moisture plumes are still coming right out of the Gulf of Mexico, heading through Alabama. Earlier today on your Tuscaloosa, they had a possible tornado touchdown, and it looked like it was pretty nasty there for a while. Rapid refresh model, this is our very own computer model that we look at on short term. It only goes out a few hours, up to 15 hours. By 10 o'clock, the rain seems to be leaving. 11 o'clock, it's pretty much out of here. And throughout the early morning hours, I think we'll just see maybe partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies through the rest of the night, so the rain showers will be ending. By 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, there probably won't be any rain, but more could move in later on. Right now, the winds out of the southeast at 6, 77 Dalton, Cleveland, Chattanooga, 75 in Murphy and Blue Ridge, 77 and 71 the high and the low for today. We had almost 9/10 of an inch of rain at the airport, but over an inch of rain in Lafayette, Fort Payne 1.7, 2.3 in Scottsboro, only a half inch. Dalton, Chatsworth, Calhoun, and Tryon so far. Blue Ridge Mountains in Georgia had about 4/10. 2.3 up on Signal Mountain, Moby Mountain 1.3, Red Bank 1.4 with an inch in East Ridge 1.6. Lookout Mountain only 6/10 in Cleveland, and then north of the city, pretty much 3 to 4 tenths to the northeast, and up to an inch in Cagle Mountain, Comont, 1.2 inches of rain. Latest Vipercast again is showing some showers in the morning, but very, very light. And then we get some breaks into the afternoon as far as the rain goes. Then a line of showers and thunderstorms moves in Friday night, and by Saturday morning, most of it leaves, and looks like the rest of Saturday is going to be pretty good. We'll start to clear off, and into Sunday looks like a very nice day with high pressure moving in, and I think you will enjoy weekend, probably into Monday too. Now this is going to what the total amounts of rain are going to be somewhere between 1 to 3 inches after it's all said and done. You're not going to get another 1 to 3 inches, but you may see another 1 to 2 depending on how much you've gotten. Tonight though, 72 with showers and a chance for a thunderstorm. Tomorrow, showers mainly late in the day. It's going to be windy though, southerly winds 15 to 25 and gusty. May have a thunderstorm coming up for tomorrow night. Some of those could be strong to possibly severe with strong southerly winds and a muggy 74. Saturday, some morning showers, then out of here quickly with 83. Then we'll see clearing coming up on Sunday. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are looking absolutely fantastic. Yay. Some great weather coming up for next week.
And just in time for the weekend. Thanks, Paul.
Well, still ahead on Live at 5, Tropical Depression Cindy is moving inland.
Let's take a live look now at Fairfield, Alabama. That's where officials say there was a possible tornado earlier today. We'll get an update on the damage caused by this system and where it could be heading next. Stay with us.
Just over our shoulders, you're looking at Fairfield, Alabama. That's near Birmingham, the site of a possible tornado touchdown from earlier today. Now, Tropical Depression Cindy made landfall early this morning in southwest Louisiana, and it continues to cut a path of destruction as it moves to the northeast.
Yeah, leaving a big mess. NBC's Jay Gray has been following this storm and joins us now with a closer look at the conditions.
Crashing waves and driving rains define Cindy as the tropical storm makes landfall.
That is a waterspout, folks.
The system has spawned waterspouts and tornadoes. This afternoon, a twister rattled nerves and scattered debris in Fairfield, Alabama, just outside of Birmingham.
This is just something we got to deal with. Just pray that everybody's okay.
Cindy has also dumped 12 inches or more of rain in some of the hardest hit areas. Flooding continues to be an issue across the central Gulf Coast.
Our rivers and our lakes are rising. So wherever there's water, our citizens need to be careful and cautious.
The storm turned deadly in Alabama. when 10-year-old Nolan McCabe was hit by a large wooden post as he walked along the beach with his family.
When the wave actually hit the timber, it rolled the timber up on top of the child.
Damage and debris stretches from Houston through the Florida Panhandle. Communities across the strike zone cleaning up as the tropical system now continues to push inland.
We're certainly not out of the woods yet. It's still a long way from being over.
Millions in the path of the storm bracing for what Cindy could bring next. Jay Gray, NBC News, New Orleans.
And coming up in just a bit on Live at 5:30, here's a look at the Chickamauga Dam. And as you can see, the water level, it's a little bit higher than usual.
We're going to take a look at the system here. Paul Barris will let you know how much more rain to expect over the next couple of days. And you'll see who's enjoying bad weather in another state next on Live at 5.
Be sure and start your Friday morning off with us on Channel 3 Eyewitness News today as you're getting ready for the weekend. Hey, it is Take Your Dog to Work Day, and we're going to tell you why that's actually good for you. But I don't know. I think my dog would not act really good.
We should try it out.
I know. Maybe I'll bring Flower Girl. I don't know.
All right, we'll try that. We're also going to talk about some weekend road closures. It's going to be a fantastic Friday, all starting at what time?
4:30. We'll see you then.
Galveston, Texas is feeling the wave effects of Tropical Storm and Depression Cindy, and that's drawing surfers to the beaches. This morning, about a half dozen surfers took to the water to ride the larger than normal surf. City officials have encouraged people just to stay out of the water because of the strong undertow. But as you can see, it hasn't stopped some wave riders. They're enjoying this. That's because today's surf was about 4 feet higher than usual. Also, police in China this week helped save a beached whale shark. Border police officers are not saying how long the shark had been beached. Whale sharks are one of the largest existing species of fish, reaching up to 39 feet in length.